So I started going to where the gigs were that I knew and taking a picture of myself with the band in back of me to say, hey, it's safe. Come on out.
Wow, you took that on as your own project of saying,
so
hey, we're going to boost live music here.
Yeah. So it's safe. We're going to come out. We're going to come out. And
well, it's so perfect that you're doing that, Jack, because you understand the human psychology and the fear that came with COVID, and that you're trying to bring the temperature down.
Yeah. So I'd wear a mask. I'll follow all the rules, but we can still have some fun. You know?
That's amazing.
And
hang on a second. We're going to take our first break. It's Jack Stevenson's with us here. He's got the popular podcast, Two Man Happy Hour. It talks about live music in Erie. Stay with us. Back in about 90 seconds. It's the Joel Natale Show. Jack Stevenson is live here on TalkErie. It's our fun Friday conversation. We're talking about live music and his podcast, Two Man Happy Hour. Give me that website again there, Jack.
www.thenumber2manhappyhour.com.
Fantastic. You got merch there, too?
It's coming up. We're revamping the site, so we do have some merch that's going to be available, yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
So let's talk about, finally when you got this podcast launching, because you started out saying, hey, we're trying to get people back into the live scene. And so you were physically going on your socials, taking pictures and saying, hey, the water's fine.
Yeah.
Come and see some live bands, right?
Yeah, so we did that, and we still weren't ready to do the podcast. We really didn't know whether the podcast. So anyway, there was no list and there was no podcast. So
you needed your
nothing.
Your input.
So there was nothing. So I thought when the showcase came back that it would have the list, and it didn't. No. So we said, we have our list. I said, I got together with my son Sean, Brian Waller, RJ, and we talked about, can we put the list out without having the show? And the immediate issue was Two Man Happy Hour doesn't mean anything without the podcast. So a number of people, when the list came out, probably for the first 3 months, they thought it was a men's dating site. And so we had to, there was nothing, there was like, people know Two Man Happy Hour now, but nothing, there's anything. So we were mortified. Oh, well,
Yeah,
I'd like to be. Well, no. This is a music site. So that was like the first year and a half, and then I was on the radio with Mojo.
I love that you said it's like, not that there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, right. There's a total Seinfeld moment
but it
there.
was.
But so you went on Moj. On
So
Rocket,
we went
huh?
on. So the list was out, and I had to explain. It's not.
Yeah.
It's 2 minutes. Well, it doesn't make sense. Well, because there's no show yet. So when 2-Man Happy Hour. So I was on with Moj and AC in the morning, and we was doing something around Christmas time, and Nat the Hat was there.
Nice.
So Nat the Hat and I are there, and we're going to do this Christmas song. I'm going to play, and she's going to do the Jingle Bells and all that. And so after the morning show that we were done, I had talked to her. We hadn't seen each other for quite a while, and she says, "I'd like to do a podcast." And I'm like, "Yes, I've got the thing for you." And that's when the podcast started. Yesterday, Brian and I recorded a show yesterday, Thursday. So it was a 3-year anniversary.
Was it really?
3 years of doing 2-Man Happy Hour. 6 years of doing the list. 3 years of doing 2-Man
So you
Happy
did
Hour
the
show.
list for 3 years.
Without, yeah.
How did you publish it? Where was it available?
So it's available right now on the 2-Man Happy Hour website. It's free,
Okay.
100% free. There's no charges for anything.
and how did you fix the whole? How do I get the data? Like, what's the data input for you?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Good question. So the data input is, I check it 3 ways. So the musicians or venues in town, I will take information. I will let anybody submit their shows.
Okay.
What was different from the showcase was that if you only the musicians could submit their shows. And I don't know if you experienced this, Shady, or not, that you forget sometimes to put them in. And I thought to myself, well, who wouldn't forget? Well, the venues, they want them. So it really,
They have a motivation to get
so
in there.
musicians can go right to the website. There's a little form.
Okay.
Fill out the venue, fill out your name, fill out the time. If there's a special note, it's a benefit. There's no cover, blah, blah, blah. I only have, it's just one line, so I can't, publish your song list or anything for you. But, so that's it. Or people invite me, musicians, you can invite me on Facebook.
Okay.
I will say I'm interested, and then that pops up and populates a list. When the musicians put it in from the website, that's going to populate a list. And venues just send me the whole month,
Right.
or the
yeah.
year at a time.
Yeah. You see their beer posters that might have 20, 30 gigs on them.
Right. So they'll
of their
send me
bookings.
that, and that's the way it goes out. There's a little bit more, a little bit of
It
legwork.
sounds like you have to do a significant amount of collation and organization. I mean, this is a labor of love, it sounds like, huh?
It really is. Like I said, we don't take any money from fans or musicians or venues to do this.
Yeah.
We've got some great sponsors that help us out, because there are some minor expenses.
Sure,
but
sure.
So some of our sponsors help us out with that, and it really works as a kind of a whole. Everybody's got to get involved to make it work.
So, what I love about this story is that there was a need, and people I feel like you're a ground level musician. Like, you are immersed in the ecosystem.
I play 168 shows a
Holy.
year. I play in the music system. Yeah.
You are in the system. And so you're like, there's a need. I could meet this need. I'm organized. I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
And here we are 6 years later,
Right.
with a list, and 3 years of actually having the conversations about this live music scene.
Yeah,
I love this idea.
So what we're trying to do, and what we're really trying to make in Erie is let people know about what we've got here now. Everybody knows that hangs out. We've got a great live music scene here. But I really... I feel that we don't know how good we have it. I've traveled literally Maine to Hawaii, everywhere in between, doing trainings for this national group of psychiatrists. And you know, when I'm done during the day, I'm out and I go around and I see what's out. I see what's happening. People from all around the country message me. I mean, we need a 2-man happy hour here. We need a
Hang with that. We've got Jack Stevenson with us here. News is next. We'll have more on our conversation on this fun Friday on Talk Erie. 4:35. It is the Joel Natale Show. We are live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio here. We're talking music and live music at that here in Erie, Pennsylvania. And Jack Stevenson is with us. He is the host of the Two-Man Happy Hour, a popular podcast, as well as a kind of a full resource, a listing of live music here in Erie, Pennsylvania, and the region. And, you know, Jack, again, what excites me about this is that you saw a need and you met the need. So I want you to talk about some of the response that you've been getting from the musicians, because, again, you're kind of honoring them and supporting what their efforts are.
You know, it's the response from the musicians is all been positive. You know, it's just a way for, you know, to get the word out. You can't expect clubs to hire bands if people don't show up. And you can't expect people to show up if they don't know. Right. Now, you can go and look, I mean, if you have a favorite band, and a lot of people do, you can go to their website and say, oh, hey, that's
do bands still have websites? Or are they doing Facebook?
They do Facebook and you know,
SoundCloud. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, they you know, anything that they can do. Two-Man Happy Hour puts it all together in one spot, so that's kind of nice and easy to look at. I mean, I even do like a little. If you're driving in the car and you don't want to read, I'll do a little minute or two. Here's playing Friday night, and I'll just read like movie line. Tonight, here's 10 random gigs right in Erie, PA.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So it's that. So there's a great response. What I am surprised about, though, is and everybody's busy, is that sometimes it's hard to find a gig, and that's the only thing that surprised me. If I was a venue, I would do everything I possibly could to put some people in those seats. If I was a musician, I would do everything I possibly could to put those seats in. So sometimes people forget, but if I know, I don't know if you've ever had this experience, Shani, would be, you know, a place hires you and they say, well, what kind of crowd are you going to bring? And I said, well, I play 168 shows. Probably my crowd isn't going to follow me to every one. Right. So, but you know, you got to realize that they're,
well, and it's kind of a chicken and egg kind of thing, right? I mean, doesn't the venue have its own built-in audience, and then the bands have their built-in audience, right?
So I guess the point is, it works best when everybody is pulling.
Right.
So I've got some venues that, you know, we leave it to the band to publicize the show. Oh, that's good, but all right. And the band, no, we're not going to put our gigs in. We let the venues do that. I think everybody, you can't, you know, want to be a rock star and say, hey, I'm not going to go to the nth degree and do it. So I do get surprised when people don't utilize it, and I know they're playing and they know about it, but it's, in the same sense, it's easy to forget. I've forgotten to put my own gigs on the list occasionally because I'm,
is there a directory part of this where basically you can go to, I don't know if there's a like a sub Shaney page or a sub Jack page.
Well, that's what we're. So my son Sean and I put together the website that we have right now, which is really pretty basic.
Okay. Look it up here.
And we're getting some help on designing a new site. So the new site's going to be more interactive. It's going to have the list. It's going to have the podcast that Brian and I do. And it's going to have a number of tabs. We want to have. I was mentioning off the show on the side that we're going to have tabs for different states. I
love that.
People that check in from all over, and people message me and say, hey, we really could use a two-man happy hour here in wherever they happen to go. You know,
I mean, this is actually printable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah, there are business. I go in every once in a while. I'll go in somewhere, and you see on the bulletin board someone printed it off and taped it up. They're just like you did with the showcase. Sure. I mean, it's just a list. It's not anything creative, but it's a list. The show is a little more creative, but depends if we're doing it at night or early in the morning. I'm sure you understand that.
I noticed that Blue Light is a sponsor, so it depends on how many blue lights, right?
Oh my God! Yeah, you guys should have to come on our show. Everybody that comes on our show leaves with a 30 of blue light.
Oh, is that right? Oh my God!
We could never. Well, Erie beer is Blue Light.
Okay,
and so they're one of our sponsors. They've started sponsoring us from the very beginning.
That's fantastic.
So part of our deal is that we get about 4 to 5 30-packs every month. Now, for me and the Barry Treasure Band, of the 7 of us, 4 are diabetic. So we're not having any. We're like, what are we going to do with the beer? If you came up to the studio right now above McCoy's, there are 8 30-packs sitting inside because I don't want to carry them upstairs.
Well, they make a good bomb shelter just in case, you know.
Yeah, too funny. Right.
Let's get a phone call in here. Hi, you're live with Jack Stevenson here on the Joel Natale Show. Go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You're live.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to speak on this. Man, I was a roadie back in the 70s, putting the equipment in.
All right.
For a piece of mini organs and the Voodoo State Bagwell, the Smoothies, and the Happy Scab, just some, good old times. Back then we'd go to fire halls, and the radio stations would a lot of times be there and help us out with it. But, I love live music, don't get me wrong. I lived in Erie for most of my life, but I spent 5 years in Vegas, and talk about the music scene.
Wow, right.
Yeah. But I love Erie. I love the Erie environment.
Someday Vegas will catch up to Erie.
There you go.
If they had a 2-man happy hour, maybe.
Well, actually, my nickname has been for years now Vegas Dave. I call the Italian hour, and I'm on the top 10 list for
Vegas Dave. I love
Vegas
it.
Dave, I love it.
My head gets pretty big. But anyways, Erie's always been a great place for music. Look at the Philharmonic.
Oh, yeah.
What a gem is there,
Yep.
But I don't know what the answers are other than maybe just find a few more people that are in the tavern or club business that have our mantra and just want to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to put in a good solo year of this and see what happens,
Yeah.
Well,
and
and
some, Richard Little Hawk Walkers haven't played in Erie in a long time.
Well,
Go ahead. Jack.
Was it Vegas Dave?
Yes.
Vegas Dave. Yeah. You make a good point because, when you're going to commit to a live music scene as a venue, people ask me all the time, hey, we're thinking about doing music. And what you have to maintain is consistency. Mm-hmm. Whether you're going to have it just the first Friday. I know some people that have it just on a first Friday and people know it. You can't be hit or miss. If you're going to do it, you got to do it. There's going to be some risk involved. I'd be glad to talk to you, but people have to start realizing that it's there. Right. That gig is there.
I think we as consumers need to throw a $5 bill for cover. Come on.
There you go.
That's a beer.
Thanks so much.
Anymore.
Appreciate it, Vegas. See you later, buddy. Thanks. Bye. Well, a lot of the bands have their tip jars and things, and they do pretty well that way. But to your point, it's huge. You can't do catch as catch can. It looks like some of the venues, like the wineries, will do a seasonal series, which works really well.
We have so many. That has opened up the number of shows that are around the area. Before we had the wineries and distilleries equally. They are all having live music, whether it's a full band or solo or whatever they have. That has really opened us up and got me to thinking, this is a destination. Erie needs to be a destination place. I was playing at all. When you play down at Oliver's on the Bayfront.
Sure. You're talking about the beer garden downstairs?
Beer garden.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, I'm playing with the band.
It's a great venue.
And I'm looking out over the crowd, and the sun's coming down and up over the boats, and I'm thinking to myself, Florida has nothing on this at all. This is people
huge
just
resort experience. Absolutely.
Yeah, and we just need to get that word out. That's what I'm trying to do with 2-Man Happy Hour. Really, just you can't expect the people to come unless they know. Mm-hmm. We did, and everybody when when you talk about live music, everyone, I don't know anybody that's, I don't, maybe a couple. Hey, do you like live music? People don't say no.
No,
Nah,
there's
not for me.
Right.
Yeah.
There is something that has changed, though, maybe over the years, maybe even before our time. Because I had the cows in here, for example, and guys from Ruby Port from back in the day,
Right.
Where they could be the house band of the Cali Club 6 nights a week, and that was their livelihood.
Right.
In fact, I think it was Joey Salarino was telling me, he was a 16, 17-year-old drummer making more money than his dad made at the GE. I mean, that's a different era. And what was explained to me is that people drank more. And so the bar tab was a bigger deal on a Tuesday night than what we have in this current context.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Everything changes as, not to go back to Vegas.
Yes.
Dave, he's unloading the truck. What we used to carry around when I was a kid and playing my first band, it was called Middle Earth because we liked
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings thing.
Love it.
But it eventually evolved into Endless Summer. I don't know if you remember Endless Summer.
Sure I do.
Jim Borway, unfortunately,
Yes.
Jim Borway recently passed.
Yes.
But I still am in touch with Mike Lotz. We played together. Pat Ross, the gang. That was Endless Summer. And
Wow.
yeah.
And you guys were doing kind of the Margaritaville vibe?
Yeah, we did the Margarita. But the point is, we'd pack a truck about the size, a small box truck
Did
to get
you?
everything
With
there.
all
And
your
now
stuff.
I bring the whole PA in my Kia Soul.
Yeah.
I am not kidding you.
That's Shaney,
Right?
with a couple powered speakers and a mixer right there.
There's no more board.
Yeah.
I'm running. But you guys run the XR32. I run an XR18 Behringer.
Right.
And there's no board. There's no snake. There's no the lights
it.
you could carry in one hand. There's,
Is there again? Is there a way for music to be somebody's career like this, though?
oh, without a doubt.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does that work?
I mean, it's hard work, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just.
I guess you can't. You'd have to go and come back. And how do you do it?
If you just have to be on top. You've got to be versatile. You can't say I'm going to do this and be a starting off band playing all originals. Your originals might be great, but it's going to take time. Don't close these doors. You've got to. I have an acoustic group. I have an acoustic duo. I have a yacht group. I have a group. It's just a funny thing that we play. It's called the Designated Drivers. One of the guys, Preston from Small Town Revolution, and Kevin Reynolds and myself, we play that every one. And I've got the punk band Johnny Karate, and I've got the Buried Treasure Band. So if they're you got to be able to do it,
right?
It's a pretty. What do you? We're if someone calls me to book, are you looking for a band or solo?
Right.
And I can fill everything.
Wow. What do you think about the first 11 kids? I mean, I'm just so excited for them because here they are doing these covers, doing these amazing YouTubes, and they're gigging. They're coming to Big Bar, every month or every other month.
Yeah, they're going to be there tomorrow. Actually,
is that right?
Yeah.
If there was only a list, if there was only a list,
I could find. No, I should go. I'll look at the list if we take a break. But I think they're there tomorrow. Want to hear a funny story about First to 11?
Yes, please.
So one of my last trips that I had for my old job, I was in St. Louis. Doing a trade show, and you've been to the big exhibit halls, and I'm giving a speech about this criteria we developed, blah blah blah. And during the downtime, I'm searching on my what do we got going? Oh, there's no 2-man happy hour in St. Louis, so I'm scrolling through, and when you see Ryan Kryshak, who's in for Ryan, he goes, "We're playing tonight in St. Louis."
Oh my gosh!
So it's First to 11. Brooke Surgeoner's at I think room 33 tonight. I think she's at room 33. I'll have to do. I'll have to look. But
Yeah.
anyway, I start thinking about it. I know I typed it somewhere. But
Right.
so I go. I'm like, I show up and they're like, how far does 2-Man Happy Hour come? I say, yeah, I had to leave for the gig a couple days ago. No, I just happened to be in time. They surprised them. Yeah, that was a good time.
Wow.
Yeah, they're fantastic. I love if people don't realize that, you can get out there. The shows, a lot of shows are early now. That's
true.
a big change from when we were kids.
Yeah, you're not playing till 2 a.m. every night.
Yeah, I mean, we would play. People were, when I used to play at the Rook, we didn't even start until 11.
Yeah. Wow.
So everything was very, very late. When I started, our parents would have to come with us, or at least a parent would have to come until we hit the magical age of 21.
Fantastic.
Oh yeah, I remember, vividly playing, St. Patty's Days and things at Sherlock's, and just being. I remember once we were all underage, and they hired us at this bar in Edinburgh. Remember the copper coin? It was the copper something or the last shot half, something like that, halftime something. And here we are. We're all underage for a whole room for a college, and we're running the show, and we're having a ball. And it was just music has just been that kind of experience.
That is amazing. So what you're doing really is making it more accessible and really promoting the whole vibe. And to bring this plane in for landing, what would you? I mean, you're saying that live music is alive and well in Erie, and is it growing?
Yeah. It fluctuates because of our seasonal. So during the list, when I'm doing the list in the summer months, we see usually 200 and above gigs for a 7-day period in our area.
That's unreal.
Oh, yeah. You wouldn't believe it. There's 19 gigs tonight in the city of Erie. There are 19 people playing live music tonight. Probably setting up now.
Yeah, any time now.
Shady's got to go.
Shady's got to go.
She's got a gig. I'm off all weekend.
Are you really?
I was so excited. I'm like, because this is perfect. Now I'm going to cruise. And you're right. Well, I know you got a gig. If you're not doing it, you can come up to the studio and hang out. We could have you on our podcast. How about that?
We could do that probably. Yeah.
It'd be all right. Yeah, so we'll be hanging.
I mean, just that statistic alone, over 200 gigs in a 7-day period, in a random March week. Now it's St. Patrick's Day, so that might be a slight impact, but still.
So that's usually summer. When we get to now St. Patty's Day, it's sometimes I've ridden my motorcycle on St. Patty's Day. Sometimes I've had to put boots on and everything. But it looks like it's going to be a nice one this year.
Yeah.
But it ranges. I can't remember what was I going to say with that. Where were you? What was the question again?
That we're live and well. You know?
Okay. So here's where I was going. So this time of the year, we're looking at averaging about 150 or so.
Okay.
When we get down to the cold winter, you're around between 100 and 120.
It's still a lot of
gigs.
live.
Within the 45 minutes to an hour around Erie.
And you count everybody, right? You're counting standards, you're counting jazz bands.
Everything.
I mean, the whole shooting match.
Anybody that puts a live music event, it will go on the list.
Fantastic.
So it keeps going out. It keeps growing.
And if they want to listen to the podcast, can they just do it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts?
Yeah, there's Brian. And by the way, the 2-Man Happy Hour, it's myself, and the other man is Brian Waller. So Brian, Shani knows Brian. I'm not sure if you met. Brian is a longtime sound man friend of mine. We actually met on St. Patty's Day across the street at Sherlock's.
Sherlock's.
It's one of my bands. This goes a while back. It called Jackson Station. We used to do the 10 a.m. show, and Mike Lamp, I think, was doing sound, and Brian was the new light guy. and he had this crazy system in it. And so we're having a ball, and it's, of course, St. Patty's Day. So, we ate a lot. So anyway, we became fast friends, and he's the other man for the two-man happy. So he runs what you're doing for your show is what he does for our show.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Again, the website is 2 manhappyhour.com. You can also look up the podcast on your favorite podcatcher. Jack Stevenson's Two-Man Happy Hour, reporting the latest in Erie, PA's live music scene. And probably the next time we talk, you're going to have some of those tabs going up and down the East Coast. I think that's an amazing idea.
We really want to be, and as we get some of these cool flights coming in and out.
Yes.
Hey, if there's a flight down to, I don't know where they're proposing.
They go to Tampa now.
So Tampa. Why don't we start a two-man happy hour in Tampa?
I love it.
I can get down to Tampa, and how long will it take to
get
2.5
hours?
2.5 hours? I could take a half day and be at a gig at 7.
I love it. Thank you so much, Jack, for taking the time.
You are so welcome. You guys got to come on our show sometime.
We'll do. It is 4:56 live on TalkErie.